What's up, guys? How y'all doing today? Wait, hold on. Can y'all hear me? What's going on? Listen, I promised y'all a week 3 recap. Now, listen, we have to talk about this, guys, because so many people, including me, said the defense did what needed to be done in the end of week 3 with Mia. Now, let me just start off by saying, of course, I believe the diddler is guilty, okay? Of course, I believe all that stuff. And I do believe Mia's testimony. I just don't think that she was ready for all of Brian Still's nonsense. But you guys, I talked to a lot of legal experts, and we are going to do an in-depth legal analysis because the word on the curve is not only is Diddy looking for a pardon, which I do want to say that I made that video 9 months ago that Diddy was looking for a pardon, right? And y'all called me a liar. Now, I was not. It looks like Diddy is 100% being pardoned. But my whole point of the matter is, well, let me slow down. He's not 100% being pardoned, but he is 100% looking for a pardon. But people are saying that one of the reasons he is pushing so hard for a pardon and willing to beg, borrow, steal, baby, he will not only sell his community out, he will wrap it up and hand it to Trump for 2000, what are we at, 24, 2028. He is right? Or is it 2000? Yeah, it's 2028. When did Trump become president? It hasn't only been some 2029. Listen, the whole point of the matter is he is willing to do everything he can. We will talk about the pardon later, but part of the reasons he wants to do a pardon is because Diddy's team believes that he is 100%. And when I say 100%, 100%, the government is 100% proven their case. And baby, we are going to do an in-depth legal analysis. Now, let me just get into this legal analysis for you guys because we need to talk about a few things, okay? I've been in the court every day, Monday through Friday. I've been doing recaps, okay? I have not been in the overflow room, and no shade to the overflow room because the overflow room is very, very fun. But I've been in the courtroom looking at the jurors. I've been looking at the reaction. I've been looking at the reaction of the court. Now, listen, moving forward, I will not talk about any specific jurors because apparently there is a whole bunch of law around that. But let me just say, Brian still made a bunch of leeway and momentum with going after Mia. However, Diddy's team is spiraling because, baby, they believe, and we got to listen to this, they believe that the feds have already proved their case. We've actually pulled up the statutes because a lot of people are saying, I don't see the RICO, I don't see the coercion, I don't see this. And all I want to say is you need to open your eyes. The feds have already proven their case. We're going to go through each witness testimony, tell you where it's gone, but we're going deeper than that. We're actually going to look at what the predicates are. We're also going to go into the jury instructions. And we're already going to say that no matter how many jurors are or are not pro Diddy, the facts are the facts. And Diddy knows, just like you guys are going to know at the end of this live, that the government's already proven their case and it's only week 3. We still have victim 2. Victim 2 is going to basically be another act of the sex trafficking and racketeering. But at the end of the day, let's get into this because I gotta be honest with y'all. Sorry, y'all. I am tired. And when I say tired, I mean sick and tired of the people saying they don't see this, they don't see that. If everybody can stop watching Carlito's Way and The Godfather and actually just read the book on what's supposed to be going on, I think it will be a lot better. Okay, now let's get into this. Okay, also let me get into the chat. What is going on, everybody? Maine says, do you think KK or D-Rock will testify? Let me tell you something. I think D-Rock will 100% testify. I think KK is 100% going to testify too. They've been talking about her too much. The only thing that stands to be reasoned is, will KK be on the prosecution's witness list or will they be on Diddy's witnesses? Remember, the prosecution said if you are not a witness, you are a co-conspirator. KK and D-Rock, especially D-Rock, baby, he was transporting and chasing people down. Baby Peaches says, oh my God, thank you so much for becoming a member. I appreciate that. Any other questions before we get, I made a PowerPoint presentation, y'all, so this is going to be good. And again, let me just say, I've been in the courtroom. I've been watching the jurors. I have been there every single day. I come at 6:37 in the morning and I stay until the court is over. Baby, when I say I am giving y'all an eagle eyes view, and again, You guys are going to see soon. The feds have already proven their case. And this is why Diddy is panicking. And this is why he is going all in with that presidential pardon. Again, he is saying he can be useful, but the real gag is, and we'll talk about that in a second with the presidential pardon. I'll probably make a standalone video. They're saying that this might be a way that Diddy doesn't implicate the real power, which is the music industry, maybe Clive Davis, maybe Jimmy Levine, all these people's names that were bought up, and people are saying that the real power, they are saying that Diddy, 100%, this might be a way to cycle him out and let him go free so he doesn't pull anybody else down. Also, somebody, oh, thank you. Confessions of a Reality TV Queen said, happy Saturday, Tisa. And chat, not to Diddy. Y'all, you know Diddy is not having a good Saturday, all right? And also, Maine, I know I already thanked you, but thank you. You know how you know Diddy is not having a good day? Also, Stephanie, 77 said, oh, thank you so much for the super chat. Diddy, oh, Sarah said, hold on, said, oh my God, the golden hour got you litty, high beauty. Oh, y'all can see it said, it's the golden hour. Shut up. Just shine. It's the golden hour. Okay, so let's get into this, all right? Listen, let me tell y'all why I think that Trump is. Actually, I'm going to make a standalone video about that because there's a lot going on with the Diddy Trump. I told y'all 9 months ago, and then I rehashed it 3 months ago. I do remember, because y'all know I like saying, everybody said I was lying. They said I was making up stuff. They said, oh my God, you do anything for clicks and views. And I was like, you guys, I have actual real sources. And this is 100% lit. And now because the Rolling Stone and CNN and CBS News, literally 9 months later, just like the Jonathan Naughty stuff, are now reporting it. Now everybody's looking at an official story. It's okay. I don't take any offense. Anyway, Jordan Dara said part of the reason Diddy was able to get away with it for so long is because he used his sexiness and irresistibility to his advantage. Can somebody call the cops on Jordan? Are you being held without your will? He used his sexiness and irresistibility to his advantage. I mean, I guess that's one way to say it. Okay. Brainiac Minderload said that Diddy's lawyer still not doing amazing. Listen, Brian still did something amazing on Friday. I will say Xavier, Brian Still, and Westmoreland, those three attorneys, baby, they always do their big ones when they're on the stand. They are too good. They need to sit down. We need Mark Agnifilio on the stand, stumbling and bubbling. We need Mark Agnifilio on the stand, stumbling and bumbling. All right? Adrian said, keep it up, Tisa. You've been on it. I like how you're showing up and giving us the truth through your lens. Thank you. And a lot of people are mad at me when I said Brian Still did his big one. He ripped me apart. I literally was disgusted. I said it. It was disgusting. It was gross. It was disturbing. It was misogynistic. It was ignorant. It was sexist. But you know what? It was also very, very effective. I do think that Brian Still ripped apart Mia, and the jury wasn't buying anything he said. Now, the feds may, oh God, this set is messing with me. The feds may come out and rehabilitate her because they have to do a redirect, but Brian Still did his big one. That said, and I want to point to everybody else, this is a game, a football game. If you want, your team's going to be up sometimes. Sometimes Diddy's going to be up 20. However, Diddy's own team and Diddy himself does believe that the government has already proven his case. Okay. And again, that's what y'all can say. Yes, I do. I am pro Diddy. I am pro Diddy needs to spend his life in jail. I do want to make sure Diddy never comes out. But if something does happen in court, it does me no good to sit here and lie to y'all and just go with the narrative. So y'all look stupid on Monday morning because everybody's like, that's not what actually happened. And I do also want to say this. You can't just, and this is why listening to people that are live in the court, not just me, but the people that are live in the court is so important because things come across differently in the tweets. Things come across differently in the reporting, okay? Than when you're actually there listening, seeing, and then seeing the jury react. You know, a lot of people thought Mia did really, really good in her testimony via the tweets. She did not. Again, I believe Mia. I actually know people. Listen, let me just say this. Now that I know who Mia is because I saw her, I heard about Mia's tea 8 or 9 years ago with Diddy. This is before there was a court case, and Mia didn't give me her tea. This is before it was a court case. This is before anybody knew about what was going on with Cassie or anything, right? I've been known Mia's tea. And when I say that she went through it with Diddy, so do I believe that the mental, the psycho, I 100% believe it. But I do also think that Diddy picked a type of personality that were people pleasers to the point of their own detriment, that wanted to be a part of something bigger, wanted to have a family. They picked people that had messed up family situations, people that didn't have their parents, but also people that wanted to be a part of something bigger and wanted to be acknowledged. Again, I know the people that wouldn't go through that, it doesn't make sense, but Diddy knew what he was doing. And when you listen to his staff, they all did that. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, let's get into this, right? Listen. Someone said, did you buy the time machine before or after that one incident in your profile pic? What are you talking about? I don't know what you're saying. Anyway, let's get into this. Listen, Michi said, I can't deny Diddy's swag. Diddy's swag? Are y'all okay? I can't deny Diddy's swag. Are you okay? Are you okay? Sarah said, I wondered if other YouTubers learned how to cite their info because they all get their research from you. Y'all, I don't know what y'all talking about. This Diddy's swag. Yeah, y'all miss me with that. I never thought Diddy had swag, but anyway, let's get into this, right? George Jansen said a post-it note with the text, I'll be back, appearing on it. Exactly. Also, Suli Buchanan said, don't worry, Tisa. 50 Cent said he's going to talk to Trump to make sure Diddy doesn't get that pardon. Happy Saturday. All right, you guys, let's get into this. I made a PowerPoint presentation, okay? Let's get into the in-depth legal analysis. Enough chit chat. Let's get into this, all right? Jordan Dare said, don't get the wrong idea. I'm definitely not a fan. I just know a lot of women found him sexy. Keep up the good work. What are we talking about? Diddy from the 90s to 2000s or 2025 when he was walking around with that Tucci belly, that De Leon belly, that tequila belly, looking like Young Miami's great grandpappy. Stop it. Diddy had swag. Okay. Messy Lala said he can go for the pardon. Trump is good friends with Tony Busby. He's using a top law firm that represents Trump. They're in photos. He talked bad about the presidents. I know, but Trump is a June Gemini. Who knows? We got to see what way the wind is blowing. Breezy said, what about still bringing up the fact that she got paid? Is that bad for prosecution? Actually, no, because I was like, oh, she got paid. How much? First of all, Mia only got $200,000. In her testimony with Direct, she was already owed just for a 3-month period. He made her work so much overtime. She was owed $80,000 for a 3-month period in overtime. Mia got the short end of a stick. She should have got a lot more. And that $200,000 was for back wages, unpaid taxes, and all this other illegal stuff that Diddy was doing. She didn't get paid. Don't listen. They said, they said, how much did your lawyer ask for? She said, 10 million. They said, how much did you get? She said, I got 200,000 for non-payment of wages, back taxes, and all this other stuff. So no, she didn't get paid at all. She didn't get paid. And even then, okay, like, let's just say she did get 10 million. Diddy, you don't give 10 million if you innocent. Anyway, what's up? I can't. Trish Bronson said, thanks, Teaser, for always keeping us informed, listening for months. Thank you. And always can't wait for the daily tea. Thank y'all so much. Okay, we're about to get into the PowerPoint. Enough of y'all have come in. Let me just get through this one super chat, then we'll go. Angela Pietro said, I'm stressing over your reporting of the jurors yesterday. Listen, we're going to forget about that. Okay, because it is unfair to single out the jurors. I will just give you my group opinion moving forward, not individual jurors. Okay. Hibiscus Rose said, bots in the chat. No one thinks Diddler is sexy. I was like, are y'all, somebody's on Tucci. Anyway, Jessica, thank you for becoming a Title Talk member. Also, Becky said, Tisa, how dare you talk about the Diddler's lawyer Gov't saying, Yana, this law-abiding man. Literally, Brian Steele is too good. He needs to sit down. Xavier, too good. He needs to sit down. Attorney Westmoreland, too good. She needs to sit down. Can we have Mark Agnifilo? Yana, my client was a choir boy. He has 50 million reasons to get bail, Yana. Remember when he was talking like a New Jersey gangster's lawyer that just passed the law exam, the bar exam, you know? Austin Freed said, I've been saying forever that they should have been tapped to take that should have been tapped to take over the Whitney Williams show. Instead, we got cornrows. What? I don't know. This is your moment. Who's cornrows? Let me stop. I want to know. Anyway, B. Will said, thank you, Tisa. Keep it up. We're with you. Thank y'all so much. All right. Okay, listen, here we go. All right, let me pull up my little PowerPoint presentation. Are y'all ready? Wait, are y'all ready? Wait, am I ready? Hold on. Are y'all ready? Okay, hold on really quick. Okay, I made a PowerPoint presentation. Okay, and I made a little filter. Look at me getting all tech savvy. Oh my God, let me move this over. This light is killing me. But you know what? I'll do it just for y'all. Should have shut the shades. Okay, so let's get into this, okay? And I'm going to point to all the testimony and show y'all bit by bit and brick by brick why the prosecution, Diddy believes that the prosecution has already proven their case, okay? First, let's get into the charges against Sean Diddy Combs, because a lot of people say they know what the charges are, but they do not. And the way they're talking about, oh my God, they did the big one. Listen, Brian still destroyed Mia on the witness stand last week, but who cares? Because they don't even need Mia. And this is why Diddy's pushing for the pardon. The federal charges filed against Sean Diddy Combs. There's the sex trafficking that carries 15 years minimum to life. There's racketeering conspiracy, up to 20 years or more if predicate acts involve sex trafficking. We'll talk about that. Transportation for prostitution under the Mann Act, up to 10 years. Obstruction of justice, up to 20 years. Bribery, up to 15 years. And alleged forced labor, up to 20 years, okay? Now, I do want to say this, and this is very important, why this could equal life in prison. I don't think a lot of people understand, right? When you combine sex trafficking and forced labor under RICO, the sentencing can escalate to life in federal prison, okay? Both sex trafficking and forced labor are punishable by up to life in prison. Under RICO, sentencing reflects the most serious predicate act proven. Again, so what does that mean? And let me just get this. Multiple victims and long-term enterprise allegations increase severity. Federal judges, now there is something in the federal thing where you can say, there is something in the federal sentencing where feds sometimes do concurrent, which means, let's just say you get 10 years, 10 years, 10 years for 5 different acts. When you serve 10 years, that's a 10 years for all the acts, right? Or there's consecutive, one after the other. Now, it is at the judge's discretion, but one of the things the judge uses for the discretion is, what is the severity of the act? The U.S. government is taking sex trafficking. Even Trump said it. The president said they're taking it very, very seriously. Because of the seriousness of RICO and all that stuff, most likely he will make it consecutive, right? Because the crime involves violence, coercion, and psychological control. Also, there's a pattern across multiple victims. The obstruction, the bribery, and the retaliation are part of the case. The legal best guess, and this is what any person that's being honest with you said, is that if convicted on all counts or even most of the counts, Diddy is realistically facing life in prison, okay? But let's actually get into what it is, because I want to talk about what everybody's talking about, and then I want to get into pointing into the actual facts of what is going on, okay? So let's get into this. First off, what is this federal sex trafficking and what it means? It is any blank act on account of which anything of value is given to or received by any person. It can include money, drugs, housing, career favors, reputation. Now, get this. Most people know, Cassie does not need at all. Cassie does not need to actually receive money for it. She can receive tokens, okay? She didn't need to receive payment directly. All that mattered was that Diddy benefited from it. Now, what does that mean before we get into the other stuff, right? If Cassie comes and she was bribed with, I'm going to take away your housing, this is going to help your career, this is going to help your reputation, or if you don't do it, I'm going to tell your parents and send tapes, right? It doesn't matter that Diddy didn't put cash in Cassie's hands. If he used that to get her to sleep with an escort, all that matters is that Diddy benefit from it. Where did Diddy benefit from this? Remember, they talked about he was standing in the room wearing a burqa from the neck up, dressed like a Muslim woman from the neck up, and from the neck down, he was booty butt, naked, diddling with himself in the corner. Yeah. Remember when they said that after it happened, he would make the person in Cassie and then make Cassie rub the all over his Yeah, that is a benefit from it, okay? Again, if Diddy paid someone to sleep with Cassie and she complied under pressure, that's a commercial SMEX act. It doesn't matter whether Cassie got paid to sleep with Diddy directly. It's the point of whether Diddy benefited from it. And Diddy benefited from it from his disgusting, weirdo, lustful ways. But let's get into this, right? Because I actually want to break it down a little bit more because it's important to actually break down. Okay, so okay. So one of the acts that everybody talks about with the SMEX trafficking is the coercion. That seems to be the act. Oh, I'm sorry. What counts as a commercial SMEX act? To convict, prosecutors must prove that Diddy knowingly recruited, transported, or harbored SMEX workers, okay? And that the victim engaged in a commercial SMEX act. Now, this is really important to know because I'm going to actually break it down. What proof do we have of that? The government has subpoenaed travel records. They've also subpoenaed text messages. They've also, from all the sex workers, they subpoenaed travel workers for all the sex workers. They've gotten text messages from Diddy's people and Cassie instructing people at Diddy's behest to actually fly in. What's more, they have the person that actually worked at the hotel worker that actually worked at the hotel that showed all of their check-ins and showed all the bookings. So they 100% have the commercial SMEX Act, right? They proved that he recruited via Cassie because they can say what they want, but Cassie is not the mastermind. They all knew that she didn't have the money, the time, or the inclination. And unless Diddy actually told her to, she never solicited for a freak off on her own, okay? So you knowingly recruited, transported, and harbored. You recruited them by Cassie going to a catalog. You recruited them by telling Cassie to reach out and do this. You transported them by putting them in Ubers, but more importantly, across state lines, taking people from New York, flying them down to Miami, flying people from Miami over to LA. These are the prostitutes, right? And you engaged in the victim, who is Cassie right now. We haven't gotten to victim number 2, who also did this. She engaged in a commercial SMEX act. That doesn't mean that she was the commercial SMEX worker. That doesn't mean that she was the SMEX worker. It means that there was a commercial SMEX act that she engaged in, right? In order to benefit her trafficker, Diddy. Where have they proven that? All the escorts have said that Cassie did it at Diddy's behest, that Diddy was in complete control. They would get texts, they would get flown in, they would do this. The government has submitted travel logs, hotel receipts. The manager of one of Diddy's favorite hotels actually testified to all the shenanigans, okay? He testified to all the shenanigans. They have 100% proven the commercial SMEX act, right? They're also saying the act involved force, fraud, or coercion, or the victim was under 18. Now, the one thing that everybody is missing online that I think a lot of people need to realize is you don't need 300 people. You only need one person, right? To get the conviction. Cassie's story alone could be enough. And as much as they wanted to turn Cassie into a ho ho ho, while they were busy sitting there trying to turn Cassie into a ho ho ho, what ended up happening? The prosecution brought in a bunch of SMEX workers that have 100% proven the commercial SMEX Act, right? However, there are others that are going to testify that support this pattern. Now let's get into the one thing that people just don't see. Okay, I see the DV. So that is force, right? Again, it doesn't say the act involved needs force and fraud and coercion. It says you need force, fraud, or coercion. We already know the force. We saw Diddy chasing Cassie down in a hotel, right? In a hotel and dragging her back to a freak off. We also have one of the SMEX workers saying that Cassie OD'd and Diddy still made her do the freak off. We have Diddy admitting that he dragged her while she was throwing up and forced her to do a freak off. The force is there, okay? And it's been there. But let's actually talk about the coercion part, because that is the part that many people truly don't seem to understand, okay? Now, again, for the commercial SMEX work, we have well, there was a hotel front desk person. I don't have his name that actually testified, but let's get into this. Dawn, Kit Cudi, Daniel Phillips, Carrie, Regina, Mila Morales. No. Okay. So let's get into the legal breakdown for coercion. Okay. Coercion under the federal law. And I'm going to tell you whose testimony fit in. Coercion under federal law. It is threats of serious harm to or physical restraint against any person. It is any scheme, plan, or pattern intended to cause a person to believe that failure to engage in the SMEX Act would result in serious harm to them or other person. And it is abuse or threatened abuse of the legal process. So what does serious harm mean? Serious harm includes non-physical harm like psychological manipulation, financial ruin, reputational destruction, or threats to family, okay? The emotional relational control. Threats to leave, humiliate, or isolate the victim. If you don't do this, I'll ruin your life. I'll leak the video. I'll abandon you. We know from Cassie's testimony. We know from Capricorn Clark's testimony. We know from Deontay's testimony. We know from Carrie's testimony. And we know from Mia's testimony, even though Mia's testimony might have been discredited, that Diddy threatened to leak Cassie's tapes, not only to the world, but to her family. He threatened to get her family fired. He told her, you're nothing but a ho, ho, ho. He said, I'm going to destroy you. Why? An attempt to make her come back. And again, her job was to do freak offs. He wanted her to come back to do freak offs. What's more, the force when he ran down that hotel thing and dragged her back in the room and then made her do a freak off. Again, the government has already proven this. We're going to get into jury instructions and why. I was talking to a few legal experts that know jurors, and they were like, listen, I know it's bad, this and that, but a juror just can't go into a jury room on vibes. They gave me a sample list of what the jury instructions are going to look like. I'm going to show it to you guys in a little bit, and that is going to prove that Diddy is done. Diddy is done. And I don't care what anybody says. They have Diddy dead to rights. That is just one part of coercion. Again, everybody's looking at the wrong thing. Everybody's looking about like, maybe he was jealous. Did Cassie deserve it? Everybody is looking for these red herrings, but there's a reason why Diddy is begging for a pardon and willing to lie, cheat, steal, whatever he wants for that pardon. Because you guys, making sure my mic's still working, because you guys, quite simply, okay, the testimony that has already happened through the security personnel, through Homeland Security, and through the people that have gotten up on the stand have already proven just one count of coercion, okay? Again, Also, the gaslighting, convincing the victim they'll lose everything if they say no. Did everyone say that they saw time and time again Diddy would take away Cassie's car? Diddy would take away he would take away Cassie's car. Diddy would take away Cassie's livelihood. Diddy would say, I'm going to release your album. Then when she wouldn't do freak offs, would say no. Did Diddy not literally threaten to release Cassie's tape and then told her mom they better give her 20,000 back or else? Did Diddy not tell everybody and laugh about it that he could do anything he wanted to Cassie? And every single time, this is the part that the press and media are missing. And this is the part that everybody doesn't want to see. Now, you might think, oh, so what? That's just what happens in relationships. But y'all, just because everybody is shoplifting press-on nails out of Walgreens does not mean if you don't get caught, if you get caught, you're not going to go to jail for shoplifting press-on nails out of Walgreens. Do you see what I'm saying? Anyway, right? There's also financial dependence. This is also in the federal statute under coercion. I'm going to read what it says, then we're going to talk about the testimony, and then you tell me whether the government's proven coercion or not, okay? And also to let you know, the government is going to do the same thing I'm doing. Well, the judge is going to do. When the jury goes back to instructions, they're going to tell you what the legal definition of everything is. And they're going to tell you the factors that need to. And they're going to say, when you look at all of this evidence, do you see anything that points or corroborates this? And my guess is it is going to be a hell yeah. They also took financial dependence, controlling all the victim's money or income. Threatening eviction or taking away material needs, such as your phone, your car, a place to sleep. Cassie, her mom, Capricorn Clark, Carrie, Deontay, Mia. And the federal government has a bunch of text messages that confirm this too. All said that Diddy would regularly do this. Also, Diddy's personal assistant, George Kaplan, personal assistants have testified that Diddy regularly did this to Cassie. Okay? So for the people that say, I don't see the coercion, it's right here in front of your face. I just think a lot of people don't know what the definition of coercion is. Blackmail, threats of exposure. I have photos or videos of you. Do what I say or I'll make sure everyone sees them. Also, threatening, right? It can also be something like threatening to call the police, CPS, or ICE. I'll say you assaulted me. I'll call immigration on your family. Now, clearly, he never said that to Cassie's family. However, right? Diddy did in Mia, and I believe in Capricorn Clark's testimony, and this goes into the coercion, right? He said that you had to come and give a fake police statement. And also to George Kaplan, you have to give a fake police statement, and you have to lie to me from the police to make sure that I don't get caught with anything. They all testified to this. Diddy's team did nothing to push back on that at all. But let's keep going. Again, we're going to get into the predicate offenses pretty soon, okay? A pattern of psychological manipulation, creating total dependence, followed by you owe me. That was Diddy. He did not like Cassie doing anything outside of him. He created total dependence on him and then would take things away. Cassie's testified that. George Kaplan's testified that. Capricorn Clark has testified that. Deontay has testified that. Mia has testified this. Who else? Carrie has testified that. But there's more. Isolating Cassie from family and friends. Cassie was not allowed to go anywhere without Diddy's permission. Mia testified to that. Carrie testified to that. Deontay testified to that. Cassie was only allowed to be friends with people that Diddy approved, okay? And constant gaslighting and fear-based compliance. Again, you don't have to satisfy all of this. Every sentence I've said has been a form of coercion under the federal law. Let's keep going, right? Let's keep going. Okay, so just to get down the checklist before we move on to force. Did Cassie or any of the victims fear being hurt physically, emotionally, or financially? Yes. 100% she did. We see that with the violence. We see that with the blackmail. We see what's going on. Almost every person that's testified in the last week and a half has testified to that. Again, the defense has given no defense for that. Was there blackmail? Yes. Exposure threats? Yes. Or surveillance? Again, we have Carrie, Deontay, Capricorn Clark, Cassie herself, and also George Clapton saying that there was blackmail. I'll show the tapes, exposure threats. I'm going to hurt you, blah, 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 or surveillance. What is the surveillance? Capricorn Clark, George Kaplan, I believe, Deontay, Mia, and Mia all testified that Diddy mobilized them and his security to watch over Cassie, to restrict her movements, and to report back everything she said and did while she wasn't around him. So much so that even when she was in South Africa, he sent Mia and a few other people to go down to South Africa to actually check on her. She also sent D-Rock and KK. They haven't testified, but it has been talked about. All right. Did Cassie feel like she'd lose housing, money, or support if they refused? Now, Cassie is a victim of sex trafficking, but even under the RICO and the Predicate Acts, all of them, Capricorn, Deontay, George Kaplan, there's not one person that didn't testify that they felt like they would lose their housing, money, and support if they refused Diddy's demands. They even said that Diddy went so far as to repeatedly tell people that they would be either blacklisted. He pulled back Cassie's album whenever she didn't perform. He pulled back the show he was supposed to do with Mia whenever Mia couldn't get Cassie to fall in line. He pulled back lucrative deals for Deontay whenever Deontay couldn't get Cassie to fall in line. And he actually kidnapped, we'll get into that, and held Capricorn Clark at gunpoint, right? Because Capricorn Clark could not get Cassie to fall in line. Let's just remember this, right? Let's just remember this. Was the relationship psychologically abusive or controlling? Hell yeah, it was. And it actually scares me how many people are just fine with that. I look at other people like, yo, how many people in the US are being abused? How many parents are abusing their kids? How many people are abusing the people they lay with every night? How many people are abusing elders? Like, it shocks me the way people are just looking at this as jealousy. Like, oh my God. Was Cassie manipulated? Oh, also, the relationship doesn't have to be romantic for coercion. Also, the way that he psychologically was abusive and controlling to all his employees that testified. Deontay was told he had to stay home too, because every time Cassie leaves, she leaves. Deontay was Cassie's stylist. Diddy had no right to restrict his movements at all. We're not even getting into the force and the abuse. Diddy had no right to restrict Deontay's movement. However, he told Deontay, you better stay your ass in the house too, because every time you go out, Cassie wants to go out. The fact that Capricorn Clark got fired after she first took a vacation. Capricorn Clark, whenever she tried to go out and enjoy the industry, Diddy would send D-Rock and security to come get her and bring her out. If you work for Bad Boy, your movements when you were technically off were not your own. Who else said that? Mia also said that her movements were extremely, extremely restricted. And Diddy told all of them through HR, through text messages, through chronicled things, that your life is no longer your own. You are not allowed to do this because you are in the bad boy cult. Again, the government has been proving this left and right. And I feel like, how's everybody missing this? Because it's not sexy. It's not explosive. But these are the things the jury must point to when they go in. So yes, Brian still had a good day. But okay, fine. You ripped apart Mia's testimony as to whether Diddy raped her or not, which I 100 do believe that, like, what? Here's what I want to know. Mia was being worked like a dog. She was being treated like a dog. She was being yelled at, abused. She couldn't go anywhere. She couldn't have anything. She couldn't even have, like, why would Mia be giving Diddy sloppy toppy? She was being worked like a dog. Diddy wasn't putting her shoes on. Why would you be sleeping with your boss when you're not getting anything but work like a dog for $50,000 a year? That don't even make sense. Again, that doesn't make any sense. But anyway, I also think when you look at Diddy, though, you can look at Mia all you want. Diddy also was sleeping with the nanny. That's what they said in court. Diddy was sleeping with Kim Porter's best friend, Sarah. Kim Porter was a friend of Misa. He got Kim Porter pregnant. Diddy, I honestly believe that every woman and maybe even man around Diddy, he either was sleeping with, is sleeping with, or plan to sleep with them. Do you see what I'm saying? That's how he maintained control. Because don't forget, he would tell anybody, if you do this, I'm going to tell them what's going on, blah, 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 blah. As if he wasn't the person actually sleeping with them, right? Let's get through this again. Oh, also, you guys, let me just take a quick commercial break. Y'all know I have to read my super chats. I have a quick commercial break, but I want to get into these super fat tracks, or as I like to call it, fan funding. Hold on, y'all, right? Where are we at? Where are we at? Let me just get through some of this mess. Let's see. Let's see. Da-da-da-da. Okay. George Jansen, thank you so much for the super chat. Honeybee Therapy, thank you for the super chat. Suli Buchanan said, don't worry, T, said 50 cents. Oh, yeah, I got you. I read that. Also, oh, yeah, Jordan Dara, we said she's on drugs. She said Diddy was sexy. Ba, 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 ba. Da, da, da. Okay. Trisha, I said that. Angela, listen, da, da, listen, da, 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 da. Okay, I was saying that you, okay. Okay, B Will, thank you so much. I already said that. Da, da, da. Oh, Beverly Ann said, Tisa, any chance you can say trigger warning before you keep bringing up Trump? Let's try to keep me one monster at a time. Love your coverage. Jay said, bringing the truth closer for those in the back to see. Do your thing, sis. Appreciate your hard work. Thank you. Another person, Bobby Bellinger, said, Puff is a predator and he chooses his victims. I bet if you look into their backgrounds, they all had some kind of trauma in childhood. I truly believe that too, Bobby. That is a good point. Corrine said, do you think the defense leaked Mia's identity because her identity was known by lunchtime, the first day of the testimony? I 100% believe they do. I mean, look at the people that did it, even though it's so low down. Like, why would you leak her identity? And you leaked it, and what you get out of it? Anyway, Sarah said, let's not speculate Miss Mia's identity per Tisa's intent. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter. Everybody knows who she is, but we're not going to dox her. And it honestly doesn't matter because she's already been doxed and they still didn't get any tea on her. Anyway, SP, so awesome to see you right now, Tisa. You need to be on TMZ with Harvey. You belong there because Ray J was on, and it was such a waste of energy coming out of his mouth. He has zero self-awareness. Baby, Kathleen Phillips, thank you so much. And thank you so much, SP. You never know. Maybe you guys might see me on TMZ soon. Anyway, right? SP said, Tisa, so here goes more tea. Last weekend in Miami, bloggers sent a bunch of feds back to the Star Island homes during the day. They were at his house. Oh, bloggers said they were at his house once again. I live in Miami and my bestie shared the post. Oh, really? It sounds like somebody else is going to be indicted. Kathleen Phil said, if you believe Diddy is innocent, you're on payroll. And thank you so much, SP. I'm going to look into that. I choose joy. Carletta said, I choose joy. Carletta said, this is so good. Thank you, Tisa. Also, K-Pop said, Taco will pardon him. Like I said the other day, it's all about the money. Yeah, but do y'all really think Diddy has enough money to bribe the president of the United States? Tara Lee, welcome to the family. And Latusa Radix, thank you. Latusa, thank you so much for gifting a membership. Also, exclusively said, killing the game. Melly H, thank you for the commercial break. We're about to get back into the PowerPoint presentation. Melly H said, you think Jay-Z singing 99 Problems, but Cassie ain't one? I'm just saying. Gentle Laddie said, awesome breakdown. Thank you for your hard work. You're welcome. And Sophia Priestley, thank you so much. Maui Gomes, thank you so much. Also, Maria A said, thank you for your hard work and giving us the straight up tea. Y'all are welcome. Okay, let's get back into this mess. Oh, we have one more. The legendary Kind said, he always put himself in the position of power where all the victims needed him for their livelihood. That's coercion. 100%. But I agree with you, Bobby. I bet if you look back into all of Diddy's employees, all of Diddy's victims, all Diddy's everything, I truly do agree that he probably has some sort of, they probably have some issues when it comes to childhood trauma. Okay, so get this, right? Were they manipulated over time to feel trapped? Cassie testified that she felt trapped. Mia testified. Deontay testified. Capricorn Clark testified. George Kaplan said that he felt that if he had to resign from the job because he felt like things wouldn't change if he stayed at the job. Is that not feeling trapped? Is that not feeling trapped? So much so that you left your best job. You left the job that you were in love with the most. You left your job that you were in love with the most, all because you knew that Diddy would not stop beating women in front of you. You complained to HR, you complained to human resources, you complained to to security. Nothing happens. Again, when I say they got Diddy dead to rights, right? Now listen. Now, here's the thing another people don't realize. You don't need bruises to prove sex trafficking. Coercion is enough. Okay? Let's also talk about the fraud and force, because I think that's a lot of things that people are really missing. What is force? Obviously, at one point, it's physical restraint, serious harm, or threats of serious harm used to cause a person to engage in a commercial sex act. Did everybody not testify that Diddy would regularly be like, "Where are you at? You better bring that B right now. But you coming with me. You need to come." They all testified, everyone from George Kaplan to Cassie's best friend, anyone, all said that Diddy would say, would threaten serious harm if Cassie was not allowed to leave with him to do a freak off that Cassie did not want to do. Now, what can this look like? Hitting, choking, slapping, or violent outbursts. Everybody around Diddy testified to those violent outbursts. Deontay testified to Diddy slapping him in the back of his head and kicking him out the house because he was mad that Cassie wouldn't come back with him. When they drove off, Diddy cut them off and literally yelled through the window, you better tell her I'm going to release those tapes. If she don't come back, she better come back. Again, on the cross-examination, the whole point of the cross-examination is not to spill tea. The whole point of the cross-examination is to provide evidence so that the jury will question whether you're telling the truth. They put no counter evidence when Deontay was saying how Diddy chased them down. Somebody gave him the address. Diddy was on the way to his house to snatch Cassie back because he wanted her to go do a freak off. Cassie herself testified this. Carrie, if you want to get into the slapping, hitting, or violent outbursts, Carrie actually stopped talking to Cassie. Why? Because Diddy laid his hands on her, because Carrie did not want Diddy to go into the house and drag Cassie back. Why was Cassie being dragged back? Because he wanted to do freak offs. Do you see? Capricorn Clark, we know she got hit, she got cut, she got kidnapped actually and held at gunpoint. Why? Because her job was to act as his cat's paw to coerce Cassie into staying close to him so she could do the freak offs. Do you see how it's coming together? It's more. This is the force. Locking someone in a room or taking away their ability to leave. Now, did not Deontay, Cassie herself, Capricorn Clark, Carrie, and I believe Mia all testified that when Cassie got up, right? When Cassie got her head busted open by Diddy, Diddy would make Cassie, she couldn't even stay at the house, will make Cassie go to a hotel room until her face healed. Did George Kaplan not testify, that's Diddy's assistant, that he bought Roscoe's chicken or something, Roscoe's chicken and waffles or something to Cassie while she was being held in a hotel room? Cassie asked to leave. There are messages supporting that. There's everything. The security apologized and said, no, you can't leave without Diddy's permission. The HR, human resources, no, you can't do it without Diddy's permission. They all testified that Cassie was squirreled away. Cassie wanted to leave, but she was not allowed to leave or go back and forth without Diddy's permission. Again, this is the force. Everybody's saying, oh, it seems like domestic violence. Dummy, shut up. It's deeper than domestic violence. We are proving the force. Force doesn't have to have bruises. It is psychological force, financial support force, financial pressure. They all testified to that. And in the cross-examination, Diddy's team, right? In the cross-examination, Diddy's team was not able to provide any pushback on that. Partly because there's a million text messages also verifying that, right? Again, keep in mind, you don't need a million acts. You only need one. Anyway, right? Forcing alcohol or drugs to impair judgment. Now, that one I don't think, but keep in mind, you don't need to prove all of these. You just need to prove even one. If one of these things happened, it is using force. Right now, we're up to 500, 703. Now, forcing alcohol or drugs to impair judgment, I don't know if they've proven that, but you don't need to prove it. Because again, it isn't like you got to get like a perfect 10. You just got to prove 2 out of 10. And they already have. Using weapons or threats of bodily harm. Carrie, Cassie's old best friend, can testify that he used bodily harm and threats. Capricorn Clark, she testified he used weapons and threats of bodily harm, in addition to blackballing her, taking care of and destroying her career. Right? Deontay, he used bodily harm, slammed him in, looked like he was going to strangle him, all because they would not let Diddy beat up Cassie and then take her away. Cassie also testified. George Kaplan also testified about that. Okay. Smex acts under duress after physical violence. Cassie, in her testimony, testified, and this was corroborated by the Smex workers, that even the one guy, everybody laughed about it, the guy that said in search of freezer meat. If anybody's dealing with ED, he makes a joke. I mean, not a joke, a book with a joking manner to help you get through that. So if you or anybody you know is suffering from ED, don't be ashamed. Go download In Search of Freezer Meat. But he actually said that in the middle of them having freak offs, Diddy would call Cassie into a room, be physically abusive with her, and then demand she go back out to continue freak offs. Not just one, but a couple of Smex workers testified that. Okay. Again, Smex acts under duress after physical violence. Again, people are missing the details. Everybody's just like, I don't see it. I don't see it. Read the GD statutes. It's right there. Again, this is why Diddy is begging for a pardon, because he knows what's going on. And repeated patterns of intimidation and assault. Well, baby, that was the whole trial. So as much as people say, it's just domestic violence. Okay, well, I prefer to call it repeated patterns of intimidation and assault. Again, Cassie, just to recap, Cassie and others testified to being beaten, choked, and slapped. Why? Because they interfered with Diddy's control of Cassie. Diddy's control of Cassie was always to get her to come back so she could do freak offs. Physical abuse, reportedly followed by being made to perform sexual acts, always in front of others, okay? Security guards, okay? Security guards. Israel Flores, witnessed Diddy's violent outbursts in person. He also testified he saw and responded to Diddy violently dragging Cassie back. So did Carrie, so did Capricorn Clark. Capricorn Clark also testified, so did Deontay, so did everyone. All right. Also, freak offs were allegedly set up after drugs and alcohol were administered, sometimes forcefully. Now, to tell you the truth, they haven't really pushed back on that narrative yet, but it was put out there that Diddy would be like, yo, you need to take this. Cassie was only allowed to take rugs while she was around Diddy. I talked to a few people that knew them all from back in the day, and they said everybody that got with Diddy, he got them strung out. Yeah, they might have partied a little bit here or there, but Diddy is the one that took them all over the edge, okay? Again, for the government to prove force, now you need coercion, force, or fraud. We already had said that Diddy hit every single thing for coercion, right? So it was a person who, under threats of harm or physical restraint, a pattern or plan to make someone fear consequences of saying no. And but wait, I'm on the wrong slide. Anyway, We've already proven that in order to do that, it must be someone who engages in commercial SMEX acts. You don't have to be the SMEX worker, but you engage in a commercial SMEX act. By Diddy hiring the escorts, that was a commercial sex act. He made Cassie engage in it, and it has to be engaged to benefit the trafficker. Diddy benefited by standing in the corner with a burqa from the neck up and booty butt naked in the corner diddling for himself, and then having Cassie smear love juice on his We know that that's how Diddy actually benefited. Did he not? Did he not? Okay, so we have the coercion, and it's force, coercion, or fraud. Right now, he's dead to right with coercion. We just went through force. Baby, you only need one. It's like 9 out of 10 for force. Now let's get into the fraud. Oh my God, Dana Stinson said, sis, you are doing a superb job reporting. Thank you so much for the Cash App. Okay, now here's what it can look like. What is fraud? A promise, a false promise, a lie, or misrepresentation used to lure or keep someone in a situation they would not have agreed to knowingly. Hold on, let me put this on the screen real quick. Here we go, right? SMEX trafficking. Any SMEX act on account of which anything of value is given to or received by any person. Again, even if something was received, Diddy paid the SMEX worker, Diddy got to diddle with himself in the corner, okay? It can include money, rugs, housing, career, favors, or reputation. With Cassie, the way everybody said, you was just a gold digger. Okay, well, is that not money, drugs, housing, career, favors, and reputation? The victim doesn't need to receive the payment directly. All that matters is the trafficker is benefiting is enough, okay? Again, if Diddy paid someone to sleep with Cassie and she complied under pressure, that itself is a commercial SMEX act. Really quick, we are going to have one more quick commercial break. Let's catch up on these super chats. You guys, thank you so much for funding this trip. I very much appreciate all you guys, but let me just catch up on the super chats really quick. They said Trump won't pardon Diddy. Too many people hate him. I will say that, like, when I'm over in the MAGA country chats, because I on both sides, like I be looking and lurking, they 100% can't stand Diddy. They think he is the devil and the pariah. I don't see how Trump is going to pardon Diddy and keep his base. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Alejandro Aranda, people, thank you so much. Trini Carter said a reporter asked Trump if he would pardon Diddy. He said he hasn't been keeping up with this case. Just because he knew him doesn't mean he'll just pardon him. He pardons people if they're treated unfairly. Diddy has not been treated unfairly, but also just keep in mind this. Diddy hasn't launched his defense yet. And all these billionaires that everybody swears Diddy is covering for, they might be trying to signal through the media how to craft his defense, so that it will make it easier for Trump to pardon. Now, and again, Trump could just be playing with Diddy and making him kiss the rings and grovel and give him money just to turn around and say no. It actually could be that, right? Stephanie McElwiz says, keep doing your thing, mama. You spot on. Thank you so much. Also, Brandon, thank you so much for the super chat. You said, I love your dogmatic style. We'll keep tuning in. Thank you. Also, Nest Dog said, Mia saying it was quick is evidence of the Tootsie Roll claim. Do you think Roger Bonds will be called up? Absolutely. Roger Bonds will 100% be called to testify. Oh my God, Stephanie, thank you so much. Stephanie said, stay safe, beautiful. Always keeping you covered in prayer. Oh, thank you. Trump will not pardon that demon bet. I hope not. Stephanie M., I hope you are right and he won't, because honestly, I don't even know how his base and supporters are going to react to, the people that didn't vote for Trump does not care. You already know he'd probably do it twice just to make the people that didn't vote for him mad. But his base, they hate Diddy. So I'm wondering if Trump is even Diddy's PR campaign to get pardon might be getting a little thing, and Trump is putting out feelers to see how people feel. But overwhelmingly, people are like, are you kidding me? No. Anyway, Don Williams, thank you so much for the super chat. And Donnie Williams said, Lori Harvey, where does she fit in? I know that she briefly dated Diddy, maybe, or spent time with Diddy. I know that she invited him to lunch with Steve Harvey, and Steve Harvey was glaring at Diddy. I mean, glaring. Yadira Morales said, oh, UPS driver girl, what's up? What's up? Said, I listen to you all day while I'm out delivering packages while you deliver news. Keep up the good work. Oh, thank you, Yadira. I appreciate that. Also, Sarah said, make sure you actually like the video, not just the love button. If you guys can, you double tap the screen to like the video if you're watching it on your phone, and just hit like if you're watching it on computer. I am trying to grow and do some really amazing things for you guys. I have a bunch of stuff coming up, but for now, just please support. I really appreciate it. SP said, I want to see him take the stand. He 100% will take the stand. Norma, thank you so much for the super chat. And also Hibiscus Rose said, state charges can't be pardoned. They will not let up on him. Yeah, but the thing is, what's the state? Here's the one thing. I agree with you, Hibiscus, as I normally do. But one thing I want to say is, well, who makes the state charges? Let's be real. Who makes the state charges? Because the great city of Los Angeles looked like they was letting Diddy run around wild and rampant. You know what I'm saying? And and when you go into I don't know, they was letting Diddy run around wild and rampant. So it's like, is LAPD going to investigate themselves? I don't know. Let's see. Seat 2412B said, let's get them likes up. I know that's right. Also, Ceto 412B, Seat 412B said, let's get those likes up. I know that's right. And also, K-Pac said, I follow politics. Trump is selling pardons. He has no morals, and his base don't care what he do, they're staying. I'll bet money he will pardon Diddy. Oh, man. I hope you're wrong. I hope you're wrong about him pardoning Diddy. I really do. Anyway, let's get into the legal definition of fraud. What does fraud look like? Let's see if somebody says, I don't see the coercion part, but do you see the fraud and the force? Because you only need one of them. That is a promise. It's promising career advancement or fame in exchange for smecks. Did he not do that to Cassie? Did he not, when Cassie was having the freak calls, let her music be playing to entice her that she was about to have another hit record? Misleading someone about an event or meeting, what will it involve? Well, that never happened. Telling someone this is a party, but it's really a sex setup. I don't think that ever happened to Cassie. And pretending the encounter is consensual or romantic. Now that could be it. Also, falsely assuring the person that they are safe and protected when they are not. Did he not say that? And then he turned around and tried to say that Cassie did what? That if Cassie didn't do what he said, he was going to expose the heck out of her. Hold on really quick, you guys. Just 1 second. I'm just going to turn my screen off for 1 second, and then we are getting back into the live. But you guys, again, for those of you guys that don't see the SMEX trafficking charge, there it is right there in living color, bold as can be. There's no one that can say that they actually don't see the SMEX trafficking charge at this point. I think unequivocally, Diddy knows what's up, and Diddy knows that the SMEX trafficking charge has been 100% proven. It has been 100% proven. Again, Diddy has knocked all that out. Now let's get into, right, how many acts are needed, okay? Now, this is something that's really, really interesting and something that has Diddy's team really, really worried when it comes to the SMEX trafficking. Let's also not forget, each count of SMEX trafficking carries a minimum 20 years. Each count carries a minimum 20 years. Now, what does that mean? Okay, unlike RICO, there's no minimum number of acts required for conviction under 1591. All you need is just one incident involving a commercial SMEX act and forced fraud or coercion. It is enough for a charge. Now, multiple acts do show a pattern and intent, which makes conviction easier and sentences harder to land. All right. There's also part 2, RICO, racketeer, influence, and corrupt organizations. Okay. What are the, and you guys, listen, we're going to finish this tomorrow, but let me give you guys a teaser. I'll stay on a little bit more, right? This is important. To convict someone of RICO, the government must prove enterprise, that Diddy was part of a group, formal or informal. Hold on, y'all. I have to get something. That Diddy was part of a group, formal or informal, okay, with a common purpose. That could be a company, a crew, or a brand. Diddy, as it was a company. He was also a brand, Combs Global International. The conduct. The defendant either directly participated in or conspired to participate in the enterprise affairs. And a pattern. The enterprise committed at least 2 qualifying criminal acts. Now, here's where things get, why won't my camera turn on? Here we go. Here's where things get super, super tricky for Diddy, okay? A pattern, we already know that they had the enterprise, that's Combs Global. The conduct, right? He conspired or directly handled Combs Global affairs. That's already proven. What's the thing? The predicate acts. You need at least 2 qualifying criminal acts called predicate acts within 10 years. Predicate acts are criminal acts. What is one? Sex trafficking. I think we've already proven that they have Diddy dead to rights with the sex trafficking. He is not getting out of that one, okay? But get this, kidnapping. When he sent Cassie to a hotel after he busted her face open and went and let her leave, that is kidnapping under federal grounds. When he grabbed Capricorn Clark and told her that you better, we're going over to Kid Cudi's house and give me the address, that is actually kidnapping. Bribery. These are the criminal acts that you need for RICO. You only need 2 of them. So far, Capricorn Clark has testified that she was kidnapped. Cassie has testified that she was kidnapped. Kidnapping is holding somebody against their will, either in a space or not letting them leave. That is actually kidnapping. Cassie did actually get kidnapped. She wanted to leave after Diddy busted open her face. He would not let her leave. It was not her choice, and he told all his people, do not let this girl leave. He did the same thing when it came to Capricorn Clark, grabbing her, putting her in the car. She didn't want to go. She wanted to leave. She wanted to escape. She could not leave until Diddy told her to get the F out. Bribery. Did he not bribe? Who did she bribe? He bribed the hotel people. He bribed the hotel people to not say anything and to give them the tape. He tried to bribe them into silence. That is a third card. Money laundering. Now, this is the funny thing about money laundering. When he got that $100K in cash that everybody said he used to get cash from overseas and bring it back home, if there's no record with IRS records of him claiming that is money laundering. However, I don't know if the feds, because it was a very short case, was able to investigate that much. Obstruction of justice. Well, they already have them because that's what that fool's in jail for right now. Obstruction of justice. Drug distribution. Did he not distribute drugs to all of his employees at the parties and instruct his employees to distribute drugs to everybody else? Did he not distribute drugs to everybody in the freak-offs, right? Which is interesting to know. One thing that we did learn in this, and I was watching Torre on TikTok, where he pointed out that now that we know that the freak-offs were not some giant Hollywood eyes wide shut parties, but it was actual like something where it was like Diddy, Cassie, and another man, or sometimes Diddy, Cassie, and another girl. I find that actually very, very interesting. What happened to all those people that said freak-offs were like these whole big parties, right? Anyway, drug disorder. Oh, also witness tampering. Diddy is right now in jail for alleged witness tampering. They got him dead to rights. And also extortion. Remember when I said that Diddy extorted Cassie's mom when he threatened to leak? And again, this is my opinion. He threatened to leak Cassie's video. Cassie was bracing for it. He also threatened to murk Kid Cudi. And then he emailed the mom and said, you better pay me this amount. And if you don't, right? Cassie's mom got a home loan and mom and dad got a home refinance loan and then literally sent that, right? Sent that to Diddy. 4 days later, Diddy's heart grew 4 times bigger and sent the money back. But see, extortion is an uncollate crime, which means if you attempt to extort somebody, as soon as you try it, you don't need to be successful for you to be guilty of attempted extortion. And if you did get them to send you the money, once you receive the money, the extortion is complete. The fact that you give it back, it's like if you rob me, right? Let's just say you rob me and then you come back, you rob me. And then like a month later, or 2 days later, you come back, you're like, yo, I'm sorry. Here's your stuff. Baba, I'm sorry I robbed you. Does that mean that you will not get arrested for robbing my house? You will 100% get arrested. The fact that you had a change of mind, you already committed the crime. You will be held accountable for that. Again, extortion. So out of the predicate acts needed for a RICO, okay? Cassie's mom testified to extortion. Cassie testified to the extortion. Deontay testified to the extortion. Witness tampering. Well, the feds won't let us know, but we believe it might be Mia and victim number 2, but it doesn't matter. That's why he's in jail. So they saw evidence of it. Rug distribution. All the escorts and Cassie have, not all the escorts, but Cassie and a bunch of Diddy's employees have testified to the drug distribution. Obstruction of justice. That's why that fool's sitting in jail. Money laundering. Now, I do not believe the feds have proved that case. Bribery, 100% has. That's how that video with the Intercontinental did not get published. Kidnapping, yes. Multiple people, Capricorn Clark and Cassie and Carrie and Deontay have testified to that. And of course, the sex trafficking, we have already established that. So get this, to be RICO, you need to be part of a group with a common purpose, such as a company, a crew, or even a brand. Diddy had a company and a brand. The conduct, you either directly participated in, Diddy directly participated in, or conspired to participate in the company's enterprise's affairs. Diddy is the owner and he was a micromanager. So there we go. Now we also have a pattern of racketeering activity. You only need 2 qualifying predicate acts. Those are criminal acts. The predicate acts were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 possible predicate acts: sex trafficking, kidnapping, bribery, money laundering, obstruction of justice, rug distribution, witness tampering, and extortion. So far, with all of the witnesses and I'll read you the names of the witnesses just to refresh your memory. Let's also not forget arson. That's another crime. Kid Cudi testified to arson. Almost forgot about that one. Cassie, Mia, Capricorn Clark, Deontay Nash, David James, George Kaplan, Dawn Richards, Isabel Flores, Joshua Kraft, Lance Jimenez, Kid Cudi, Daniel Phillip, Carrie Morgan, Regina Ventura, Mila Morales, and I believe there was also an unidentified escort, have all testified that Diddy in one way or the other committed 6 out of the 8 predicate acts, and you only need 2 to get that RICO. For everybody saying, I just don't see the RICO. I don't see the RICO, baby. You guys are bots because you have to be blind not to see the RICO. Kel on Earth, welcome to the Title Talks family. Erica, thank you for the super chat. Zyra Mina said, please continue to keep your foot on Diddy's neck. You're doing an amazing job. I stay on the lookout for your videos. I just tuned in. Let's see. Can I please get a Yana with the corporate like to thank Zyra Mina. Zyra Mina, thank you so much for the super chat. Yana, thank you. Just hope once that I wonder if Diddy ever put his hands on KK. I mean, I'm sure he threw something at KK's head. Lori Ingram, thank you so much for the super chat. Oh my God, we got a superstar lawyer. Tyrone Blackburn Esquire said, finally, a YouTuber with a brain. In the words of Wendy Williams, Diddy done. Fat Joe is next. What? Y'all, I think we got a Title Tells exclusive. Esquire Blackburn said, Fat Joe is next. What? What the Holly Berry? Fat Joe is next. Y'all, we got to get into this. LD, thank you so much for the super chat. Also, Doña G said, love from Colombia. Is that Colombia? Yes, 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 yes. And free Palestine. Listen, yes, stop. Y'all gonna get me demonetized. Stephanie McElway, welcome to the family. Frank Black said, do you realize most of these testimonies are hearsay? Frank Black, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Frank, come here, Frank. Let me tell you something. Where you at? Shut up, Frank, and read a book. Boy, what the hell are you talking about? Most of this testimony is hearsay. Frank, there is a federal rules of civil procedure. The reason why they were arguing so much into what testimony can or cannot be included is because hearsay is not allowed to be said in court. Hearsay under, I think it's rule 403, right? Hearsay is not allowed under the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure 403 to be used in court. That's why it's like, objection, Your Honor. That can't happen, Your Honor. No, Your Honor. Hearsay was already excluded. The testimony, because I was in court, they haggled every day over the limits to the testimony, what they could talk about, what they could say, if they could say this happened. I sat there for 25 minutes while they argued whether Kid Cudi could say that Diddy has killed people before. And they finally decided, no, that's hearsay. You can't say that Kid Cudi cannot testify that he knows for a fact that Diddy has killed people, because that's hearsay. Do you realize that none of the testimony is hearsay? Hearsay is excluded under the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure. So everything that you hear that is on the record is not classified as hearsay. And the judge has deemed it not classified as hearsay. I'm sorry to get hype on you, Frank Black, but that's the truth. And I'm sick of people that are pro Diddy saying dumb shit, respectfully, out of their mouth when you at this point, you don't even got to believe me. Just ask ChatGPT before you open your mouth and say dumb shit. I promise you. Tell them to act as a legal expert, baby. They will explain why it's not hearsay. You realize most of this testimony is hearsay? It's not hearsay. It is something taken for it is statements that are going to be taken for the truth of the matter asserted. Okay? The court has already screened for hearsay. Diddy's team has already got testimony thrown out that was hearsay. Everything that's on record now is not hearsay. It is a statement taken for the truth of the matter asserted. Now, what I think you were trying to say is, right? We don't know if it's fact, but here's what happens once you get on the stand. Okay? Hearsay's thrown out. Okay, you cannot have hearsay on the stand. What they testified is not. They are assertions that they want the jury to take it for the truth of the matter asserted. Diddy's defense team and Diddy's job is to poke holes in the story. So, for instance, if I say my name is Hubba Bubba, right? You cannot say it's hearsay because it is me. I am me, and I am telling you that my name is Hubba Bubba. And I am taking this because when you sit in that box, you say, I'm doing this under penalty of perjury. So they assume that everything you're saying in that box is true. So when I sit there and I say under penalty of perjury, my name is Hubba Bubba, right? It's not hearsay, and it's a statement that I want you to take for truth of matter asserted. Now, your job as a defense is to get me up on that stand on cross and say, so you say your name is Hubba Bubba. That is correct. Hubba Bubba. That is correct. So your mama named you after some bubble gum? Yes. She named you after bubble gum. Did she? Yes. That's funny because if I could approach the witness, go ahead, counselor. You go and you approach the witness. What does it say? Do you know what you're looking at? It's my birth certificate. And could you read to the court what is written on your birth certificate? Tisa tells. And is that not your baby footprint? I believe it is. And is that not your mama's fingerprint? Or is it your daddy's? I don't know. I believe it is. So you said your name was Hubba Bubba, but we have a birth certificate that said your name is Tisa Tells, right? We have a thing that says that your name is Tisa Tells. See, again, That's what the defense attorney is supposed to do. When somebody makes a statement that they are telling the jury to take for the truth of the matter asserted, your job as a defense is to show proof that what they're saying can't be true. If you show no proof that what they're saying cannot be true, if you cannot show that, then the jury will be forced to take what they are saying on that stand for the truth of the matter asserted. So, Frank Black, to answer your incredibly misled question, nothing that is said on that stand is hearsay, because hearsay is excluded under 403B, and Diddy's team actually knows that. But let's move on, shall we? Anyway, where are we at? Where are we at? Jasmine Fry, thank you so much for the super chat. Jasmine said, hey, Tisa, been waiting on you all day. Also, Ronell Vismel said, Tisa, I'm like a crackhead during the week. Looking forward to your morning show court updates. I'm going to start going live more during the court all next week. Promise y'all. Ren X said, great coverage, Tisa. Can't wait for judgment to come down on his grimy ass. I wish I could see his face. Southern District of New York has proven the case. They just need to connect the dots. Enjoy my lovely state of New York. Thank you. Kamika Jennings said, if he paying $20 for people to wear free Diddy, I'm sure he has someone assigned to the jurors to offer them money. He is desperate at this point. I'm sure that the feds are watching all the jurors to make sure he doesn't get. I do want to say this, though. I think he's paying people like Frank Black to come into lives and spread misinformation. So people be like, yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. I did hear that it was hearsay. You know, Snow White said, hey, Tisa, Frank effed up. Tell him, mama. Rockman said, thank you so much, Tisa, for all your hard work. My wife, Crystal. What's up, Rockman? Crystal. Yana. Crystal has a good man. I'm Rockman. You said, I watch you as soon as we get in from work. Stay safe out there. I will. Also, Sherry Wilkes said, did you hear Trump, what he said about pardoning Diddy? Yeah, I'm going to do a video about that because I have interesting tape. Also, Miss Hampton said, Tisa, tell us the next great talk show host. Thank you. I appreciate that. Also, Oshan Ezroli Het Hero said, Rule 802, Rule 803, hearsay exceptions. Love you, Tisa. Yeah, thank you. But I thought hearsay was 403B. No? Okay, well, again, y'all get the point. Thank you so much, O'Shawn. Also, SP said, drop them gems, educators, especially all those pro-Diddy uneducated fans. We're here for it. That's why you're the best at it. Thank you. House of Wild said, even though you read this Gemini and hit the nail on the head, I love you even more because accuracy. Oh, thank you. Janice Carter said, I enjoy your energy. I appreciate your coverage on the trial. I stand 10 toes down on your coverage. Justice for all victims that suffer. And also, House of Wild said, this is for the work on this full presentation. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Thank you. And Cal on Earth said, treat him like a hostile witness he is. Exactly. You the ops. Anyway, you guys, listen. I actually got to go get dressed to go to dinner. I know, right? But I'm going to be here tomorrow to finish the presentation because we have to get into the jury and the jury instructions. Okay? Listen, everybody, thank you so much for everything. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye.